In the 1950s, the dream was about accumulation. You built a durable, tangible thing, like a car or a home. If you worked hard, your productivity rose, and your pay rose right along with it. The entire financial system was set up to be the handmaiden to the real economy, funding factories and production. What about today? We are 2 decades into the 21st century, and the only certainty is that the old rules don't apply. You aren't building things, you're forced to bet on shit. You're staring at charts, trading derivatives, and holding volatile crypto assets, hoping for a 100 times return. Why? Because the system taught you that the highest profits come not from working, but from speculating. The old promise, work hard, follow the rules, achieve prosperity, is a convincing impossibility. The question is, why is high-risk gambling the only economic avenue left that offers a path to a dignified life? To understand why the game feels rigged, we have to look at the exact moment the economy broke. We have to look at the Great Divorce. For 3 decades after World War II, productivity and worker pay grew in near lockstep. But in the late 1970s, that contract shattered, leading to a profound decoupling of national labor productivity gains from the real compensation received by the typical American worker. Here is the smoking gun. Over 4 decades between 1979 and 2019, net labor productivity, the real output generated per hour of work, grew at a compound annual rate of 1.36%. In stark contrast, median hourly compensation for workers grew at a compound annual rate of only 0.38%. That growing wedge between the value you created and the pay you received resulted in an accumulated gap of approximately 70% between labor productivity and real wages by the end of 2022. The economic gains you created were systematically redirected. Where did that value go? It was redistributed upward to top earners and to capital owners. For instance, inflation-adjusted annual wages for those in the top 1% have grown tremendously, by 160% since 1979. Meanwhile, the cumulative divergence between net productivity and median hourly compensation reached 43 percentage points between 1979 and 2017. Policy-related factors designed to suppress typical workers' wage growth, such as eroded collective bargaining and globalization, can account for about 3/4 of that divergence. The most devastating real-world impact of this redirection is the total collapse of the starter home, the primary mechanism of wealth creation in the U.S. The median age of a first-time homebuyer is now closer to 40 or 41. Pricing in the market has gone up so much, transforming housing from social infrastructure into a wealth-building tool for the already wealthy. This lack of affordability means millions are missing out on the opportunity of homeownership. What caused this structural subversion? The core mechanism is financialization. Financialization is the growing dominance of financial markets, institutions, and transactions in a country's economy. It is a structural transformation where profit-making occurs increasingly through financial channels rather than through trade and commodity production. This process is tied to the transition from an industrial economy to a service economy. This shift fundamentally altered the corporate DNA. Under managerial capitalism, returns came from productive enterprises. Now, companies are viewed as assets to be bought and sold. Profit is derived through financial engineering rather than production. This was driven by the rise of shareholder value maximization, the doctrine that the primary goal of a business is solely to increase the wealth of its shareholders. This leads management to shift from retain and reinvest to a downsize and distribute policy, prioritizing short-term financial gains over long-term investments in production or human capital. Stock buybacks are a prime example. Corporate cash is used to artificially boost share prices rather than being reinvested. The casino economy is also defined by the growth of complex derivatives and speculative assets. The widespread use of cryptocurrencies, which are highly speculative assets driven more by market sentiment than practical utility, are the logical endpoint of financialization. When finance is no longer a handmaiden to the real economy, but rather a dominant extractor of rents, this structural failure leads directly to our next concept. What happens when you are trapped in this system? This systemic betrayal takes a severe psychological toll. David Graeber coined the concept of bullshit jobs to describe employment that is fundamentally meaningless and adds little societal value, which inflicts profound moral and spiritual damage on the worker. The spiritual violence is compounded by the economic message: hard work no longer pays enough. This environment breeds financial nihilism. Financial nihilism is the feeling that the financial goal line is constantly being pulled away from you as you race toward it. You believe success is unattainable regardless of your actions because the system is stacked against you. This despair breeds a perverted rationality. Why commit to 40 years of wage stagnation at 0.38% annual growth when high-velocity speculation offers the only perceived chance at a life-changing score? When traditional long-term labor is systematically devalued, gambling becomes a rational, desperate economic response. Investors prone to risk-taking gravitate toward lottery-type stocks, low price, high potential return. You are not lazy. You are trapped in a system that extracts all wealth from production, leaving high-risk speculation as the only path forward. This activity functions as a highly efficient wealth transfer mechanism where sophisticated market makers capture the capital lost by desperate retail investors. They want you in the casino because in the casino, the house always wins. But we must resist this psychological framing. We are the value creators. We are the people who make, move, fix, and maintain things. We reject the current financialized system which prioritizes extraction or vice over the creation of shared value or virtue. This is our fundamental conflict of values. Financial nihilism leads to defeat, but reclaiming production leads to success. We must challenge the casino economy by demanding that prosperity be structurally linked to production, not speculation. Our crisis is not a personal financial failing. It is evidence of a broken, rigged system. We refuse to live in a world where the most lucrative path is extracting wealth from others. It is time to stop playing by their rules. It's time to wake up and start building the world we deserve.